Father and son.
Father and son. Father and son, oh father and son, review it all.
Father and son review it all, coming back with a very, very special Halloween edition of Father and Son Review It All. Now, a couple years ago, we went down to Orlando, Florida for their Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes.
2017, and that's done in where?
Universal Studios.
Universal Studios, Orlando.
Yes.
So, 2 years ago, it's amazing to think, though, we were going to actually report on it then, and we never did.
We never did.
We never did a
spoke
review.
about it in multiple episodes, but we just
never did.
got to filming it.
We went to 2019. We just went.
Also known as 29.
29, yes. Episode 29. Edition 29. Do they call it anything like that, or is it just 29?
29.
Okay. So, anyways, we went.
Yes.
And we can reflect a little bit now, having been to two
yeah.
our experiences. Plus, I find it interesting, some of the reviews that I've read and watched, their take on it. Sometimes some of the things that I liked, they didn't like, and vice versa. You're coming from different points of view and all that. So, overall, this came from there, too.
Yeah, those are cool.
This is very cool. Let me shut the light off so you can see this. There's different colors, too.
Yeah.
Look at that. You can have fun with these things.
Those things were like $5 a piece.
I didn't think that was too bad.
It's a steal.
Steal? $5. So anyways. I didn't know it did that. Oh, that's bizarre.
Set it down on the table.
Look, it's going crazy. Check this out. Look at I had no idea that it does that. I didn't know. Well, it's going to not do that now. That's very interesting.
That's awesome.
That's really a steal now for $5.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just one of the products. You can show off your shirt too.
Yeah, I got the shirt. It's blacklight reactive.
For their 29, it's got all the different houses on there, and I got this one.
This is their 90s shirt.
Got the Universal Monsters. This was really cool.
That was their 90s themed shirt. This wasn't their all house shirt.
No. But anyway, that's what we got there.
I have something on the back, but
whatever.
Not turning
so,
to show that.
What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the whole event.
Oh,
What'd you think?
I got this.
Nightingales. That's from one of the houses there.
You know, I'll bring this back up when we get there.
Okay, very good. So, talk.
So,
they have haunted houses. There was 10 of them.
There was 10 haunted houses.
They have these things called scare zones.
There was 5.5 scare zones.
5.5 scare zones. They have 2 shows going on.
2 shows, yeah.
All of it was great.
It was amazing.
It really was. But now we're going to give our a little bit of reflection on some of what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like.
Yes.
So, what do you think was your favorite? Now, some other people have ranked their houses, and I know we did at one point in time. I'm not going to worry about ranking, because as I think about them, it changes.
I mean, I still have a definite rank ever since I left, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, we'll say it.
Number 1 would have been Killer Clowns. Number 2 is Nightingale's Blood Pit. Sorry, number 1 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Number 2 is Nightingale's Blood Pit. Number 3 was Ghostbusters. Number 4 was Universal Monsters. Number 5 was Yeti Terror of the Yukon. Number 6 was Graveyard Games. Number 7 is Depths of Fear. Number 8 is House of 1,000 Corpses. Then there's Us. And last but certainly not least, Stranger Things.
Wow. That was magical the way you pulled that off. Really good.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about them. What was your least favorite and why?
Stranger Things was my least favorite. It's not bad in any means. It was still an amazing house in my opinion. But the lighting was just way too flickery.
Too many strobes. It was my least favorite.
And just everything else had something that just made it feel better than that. If they changed up the lighting, it would have been amazing, honestly. But
for me, it felt like you were in a dark, messy hall. And then you were in some sort of an environment, and everything had a flashy light. And you're getting rushed through this.
I honestly feel like without the flashy lights, you probably would have enjoyed it a lot more, because you would have been able to recognize all the scenes.
I think so, yeah. But some of the people that they had, the actors portraying the characters, some of them looked exactly like the people from the show. So, I mean, it was cool, but it just wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
And it was the busiest one the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's the busiest house, but it's
crazy.
Probably the worst. Like I said, far from bad. It was still an amazing
it wasn't horrible, but it was just my least favorite.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then there was the movie Us.
Yes. Us.
Neither
saw the movie.
Neither one of us have seen the film, so we didn't know what it was about. So I wasn't really that interested or I cared. But I thought once we got in there and started looking at it, there were some pretty good scares, and you kind of got an idea what the movie was about.
Yeah, and there was some very good set pieces.
Yeah, but not really seeing the film and knowing what it was about. It was just kind of like, okay, some things were happening. You can kind of guess what's going on in the film.
And they had the noise corridor.
Yeah.
There's just this long black hallway with some lights on the ceiling, and you just hear the theme song playing.
Yeah, that was in there. So,
and there's not even any scares. It's just walking.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
No, you don't.
So you don't know. Or maybe you do if you watch the movie. I don't know. So then what?
That was then House
of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes. Haven't seen that movie either.
I've seen it, and I'm not really that thrilled with the Rob Zombie films anyways. Having said that, they did a great job of reproducing some of what was in the movie. And it was pretty cool, very gory and all that. There were some cool costumes and that in there.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in this does a good job.
Like, exoskeleton.
Yeah, I don't know what the names of the characters are from the film.
All I know is Captain Spaulding.
Not a big fan of that film, but yeah, Captain Spaulding.
The facade for that one was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a good job with that, too. So then what they have... Probably the...
Depths of Fear.
Depths of Fear. Now, that was an interesting one. I don't feel as though anything the characters were really terrifying scary, but they were pretty cool, and I liked the environment itself. You were underwater in an underwater mining town type of thing.
Underwater mining facility. And they found these creatures called mouth brooders. They found the eggs, they attach to your face, they drive you insane, then they hatch and grow into these giant fish monsters.
Kind of look like those angler fish a little bit.
A little bit.
The big crazy teeth on them.
They had very slim bodies, and they actually look a lot like a Transformer I own.
All right, well, that's fair enough. But the environment was cool. It was really neat. I liked how they had water inside it.
And I believe this is the only house in Halloween Horror Nights history where you don't make it out alive. Oh. As far as the story goes.
Story goes, you're all dead. But we did make it out alive, so...
Clearly, but...
Yes, clearly. But it was a cool house, but not my favorite.
No.
But what's next?
Graveyard Games.
Graveyard Games was amazing.
That was a very nicely set up house.
That was beautifully done. They did a fantastic. The whole story idea was that teenagers were in there terrorizing or messing up,
in there
vandalizing a cemetery.
Vandalizing, spray paint. They actually had someone go through and spray paint all of that.
There was spray painting and vandalism all done throughout there.
And there was, I saw in some trivia somewhere, there are a lot of actual trees that were taken inside for this house.
It was really cool, very well done. It gave you the feel of being in an old rickety cemetery and the mausoleums, and they had the wall.
The praying statue.
The praying statue was great. It was great. The thing moved right at you. It was really cool.
And there was a point where you would look up and just see the statue up there, and every once in a while there would be a strike of thunder and lightning.
Yeah, it was cool. It had some rain inside, a little fog.
Yeah. Did they have rain inside that one?
I think there was a little bit of a little flick here and there when you first walked in, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I thought there was. But there was water at some point.
I don't remember any water in that one.
I do recall there being something. Maybe somebody spit on me or something. I don't know. But it was really cool. I like that was a real good one.
Yeah, that was a very good one.
And then what?
Yeti. Terror of the Yukon.
I've always liked the Bigfoot creatures, the Yeti, Sasquatch, all these things.
This one was very well done. The very opening scene, it's snowing on you.
Yep, snowing. It was a little colder on the set.
There was one scare where there's this guy getting ripped apart on this table by one of the Yetis, and I forget if the Yeti's tearing something out or if he goes to take a bite, but it squirts water all over you.
Yeah, look like you're ripping his guts out and he's throwing it at you. Then there's a part where you go through an ice cave and it's dripping.
It's dripping.
The water's dripping.
I don't want to know if that's a stalactite or if it's a snack they were saving for later.
It could be. Who knows? It could be anything. Then there was some of the Yetis were up high. There was one up there high.
There was one amazing scene set up where there was a Yeti up on a ledge above you, and you could hear his roar, and the guy up there...
lunge at you and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really cool. They did a nice job with that one, too. I enjoyed that.
Yes. And going through the cabin scenes even in that one.
Yeah, you go through cabins in the winter and all that. Yeah. It was fun. No, some of the guys, the actors came out, they had a shotgun. They were firing at the Yeti. That was more terrifying than some of the Yeti.
The guns are scarier than anything else.
I know, you're not expecting them to fire these. I mean, they're not actually firing them, but it looks like they are. They have a flash go off and everything.
It's very loud.
Very much so, yeah. Well, it's a gun going off.
Yeah.
So. But what else? What was the next one?
Next one up would be what, Universal Monsters?
That was fantastic.
That was
That's one of
amazing.
my favorites right there.
The very
right
opening scene. I've actually Universal Monsters on my shirt,
it was
too.
the cemetery
but
scene.
The very opening scene is the cemetery scene with statues of all the classic monsters. And
that had water.
Yeah, that was actually like
rain
raining on you.
Down on you.
And when you first walk in, the very first statue you see it's just a creature's hand coming out of a rock.
Yeah, that was really cool. They had some great effects in there. I liked the Phantom of the Opera, the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
He jumped out at you several times.
Yeah,
too.
He did. It felt like he was all around you.
Didn't they have more than one actor with the creature costume?
Yeah.
So it felt like it was the same one, but he kept popping out at you when you least expected it.
And all the monster designs were like redone to be more modern, except the creature. He was like basically the same, but now he has
But they put
fangs.
big razor teeth in him. It was fine. I wasn't real thrilled with them doing that, but when you get to see it there, it's a little different. So I was okay with that. I managed to get through it. So, anyway, that's his nice cup that he got there.
Yes.
So, yeah. How much was that?
If you have the dining plan, it's $7 if you use a snack on it, or it's like $17.
It was like 17, 18 bucks, and you could refill it until 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, basically, you paid, $20 for 2 liters of pop?
Hey, I got this cool cup,
But he got the cup.
It's actually like a really cool cup.
It is a cool cup. So, all right, what else? What's the next one?
We just did Universal Monsters, so next up, at least on my list, would have been Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, I thought, some people didn't like it because they felt it wasn't horrifying, and I'm thinking, well, the name of the event is Halloween Horror Nights, so
it's not just
Halloween is
nights.
more than just horrific things, and I think it's cool that they do branch out and do other things other than just nightmarish and garish type of things, and I thought it was one of the best houses there. And some of the best scares that I had were from there. And they weren't from the scary characters. They were from the Ghostbusters themselves, jumping out and saying things to you and involving you in the scene. And you weren't expecting that, and they did a fantastic job.
It was amazing.
It really was. It's incredible.
The whole setup from the temple on top of the apartment building.
They had the temple.
That was amazing looking.
The library you walk through.
Yeah.
The books were moving a little bit.
You go through the library, then you go through the gas station, firehouse.
The firehouse.
Then you go through the Sedgwick Hotel, and then it's
a lot of great scenes.
The whole burned up apartment. Then it's the tower, the temple on top, and then you actually see Stay Puft. He's not all that big.
I'd like to see him be bigger. Bigger.
That would have been cool.
They use sound stages, and those sound stages are a lot taller, so I don't know. They could have made them bigger.
Yeah.
Had you standing at the feet of this monstrous.
I think that would have been a bit ridiculous.
That's what you want. That's what the whole thing is.
I don't think.
That would have been amazing.
I think it sounds cool in your head. I don't think it would have been as
if you came
well translated
face to face with a 25 or 30 foot Stay Puft Marshmallow standing there and had his head come and turn down looking, that would have been incredible. People would have lost their minds.
Yeah, but you also have to remember how quickly you're being rushed through this.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing. To see this big monstrous thing, it would have been awesome. You got big sound stages, you should utilize them more. Especially you're going to do a bigger prop like that. That's what they're meant for, something big like that.
I would have liked to see a shoulder up.
I don't know why you have a problem with seeing a life-size. Of course, they wouldn't do that. He's like, how many stories is he in the movie?
Way
He's
too
like
many.
20 stories tall in the movie or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they could have done something bigger. He was still cool, though.
Yeah, I would have liked to see like a shoulder up.
I don't know.
You could see the lip of the building.
Bigger.
No, I want to see his face in our face.
That's right.
I want his face to be right down close to us.
They could have had him looking down at you when
That's
you walked in.
not close to us.
Yeah, it is.
His face.
That would have been even more intimidating to look up and see this big, massive thing standing there.
Okay.
Spraying you with marshmallow. You just had... This kid has no imagination whatsoever.
I don't think we can just talk about arguing over the Stay Puft
There's
Marshmallow.
only you and me and we just disagree. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whatever. We didn't get to see it either way, so... Okay, so that was a good house, though.
Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Wait a minute, before we get to that one, what else was there? There was Killer Clowns, right?
Yeah, Nightingale's. I was going to do Killer Clowns after Nightingale.
We'll do Nightingale's last. So, Killer Clowns, just relax. Okay. Look at him, he's getting all frustrated, aggravated. There's a reason, chill. Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This was my favorite house by far. This might be because of the fact on my second time through, I was at the very front of the line.
There really wasn't a line second time through.
No, there literally wasn't a line in front of me. I was the first one.
There wasn't. There was nothing. We pretty much had the place to ourselves at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anybody even behind me, was there?
I think there were people behind you.
I don't even recall. But we were pretty much left to our own devices. The first time we went through, it was fun.
Yeah,
was
that
cute.
was our very first
cute,
house.
You know? And then the second time we went through, it was much more terrifying because there was nobody in front of you to lead the way. There was a couple of times where I was like, anyway, which way are we supposed to go?
I know. Even after
and then these things jumped out, and you're like trying to figure out your way out, and then something else jumps out. It was pretty cool.
And
I thought they did a great job. Clownzilla.
That was awesome.
He should have been bigger.
Dad.
He should have been bigger. Clownzilla should have been bigger. 40 feet tall.
Dad.
Wow, he was huge in the movie. Whatever. You've got the soundstage. Universal, listen to me. Use the soundstage. Go up higher.
I think they know what they're doing.
Your studio. Not entirely. That's why they listen to feedback. If they knew what they were doing, they didn't want to hear from us, we wouldn't have taken all our surveys.
I think, at least in this matter, they know around what they're doing.
Daddy knows best. Big.
We should do a poll in the comments.
We
should do a poll in the comments.
Big, monstrous problem.
Would you rather see big things that you wouldn't get a good chance to see?
Or you see Godzilla?
Would you rather see good things that you won't get a chance to see? Or would you rather see... Would you rather see big things that you won't get a chance to see, or things that are still very big,
especially in the
but
end,
scaled down a little bit?
You'll get a chance to see them at the end.
And you can get a very good look at all of them. You completely missed Clownzilla the second time.
You're fired, because I was too busy trying to find out where we were going.
We were in a room that had a door straight in front of us.
No, we didn't.
Yes,
they moved the doors.
No.
All right, go on to the next one.
Last, but certainly not least, Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Now, Nightingale's is what? Tell the viewers.
Nightingale's was a original house they had. I forget exactly what year, but it started off as Nightingale's Blood Prey, which was a World War I themed house, in which these creatures were disguised as nurses and liked to feed on the dying or dead's blood.
That's not very nice. Well, I gotta tell you, this time around, this house, this blood pit, was actually the most unnerving for me.
It was.
And I'll tell you, because it was based off of, like, the Romans.
Yeah, it was
in
the
gladiators. It was in the, like, the undersides, the Colosseum. Yeah, so
yeah.
You're in the belly of the Colosseum.
Yes.
And there were scenes depicted. If you really felt as if you were enslaved and going to be thrown into the arena at any given time. There were gladiators running around in there, whipping people in cages, and just that overall feeling of being, herded together and shoved into a small line and being shoved in a direction you didn't want to go.
Yeah.
It really kind of gave me an idea of what it maybe have felt like, back when the gladiator games were going on. And, I mean, it was very disturbing. And then you've got these creature things.
The nightingales. If they had a shirt of nightingales, I totally would have bought it.
These things were popping out at you, coming from everywhere, feeding at you. And it was really disturbing.
There was a couple quiet scares from the nightingales where a sound didn't actually play when they jumped out. Those were, like, some of the scariest. And then there was this one room. This was my best scare of the whole event. It was a dark room. You could see a couple pillars in the room. And as I'm walking through the room, 3 of them, 2 from one side, 1 from the other, all jump at me at once.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I'm just looking around every direction. There are these things.
Hitchcock's The Birds. They're all over you.
Yeah.
They really were. That was very disturbing.
Honestly, this is my favorite original house that I've seen. It's my favorite original creature design.
It was pretty cool.
And we're lucky because they were releasing their original art prints for all of their original stuff every week, and it just so happened the Nightingale stuff released while we were there, so...
He got lucky. I think, again, that was the most disturbing, and the one that was the most unsettling. And it actually had an effect on me as I got out of that thing. Almost got a little panicky at how this claustrophobic and just this feeling of kind of helplessness.
I remember...
I paid for that.
Yeah. I remember throughout the entire line, it felt so much longer than what it said it would be, so I was trashing the house the entire time, and then after going through it, I immediately wanted to go through it again.
It was pretty cool. So So those were the houses, and then there were these things called the scare zones.
Scare zones.
When we went in 2017, the scare
They were
zones
amazing.
were really cool. This time around, I think they all really fell flat.
Yeah.
I was not impressed with any of them. I'm not even going to go into any sort of detail because they were just they were duds. I really wasn't impressed. And I'll tell you what really got annoying. They got people running around with chainsaws, scaring you. They come up behind and they fire them up. When you're in the park for any given amount of time and you have to keep going through them, it really loses its effect.
Yeah.
It's more annoying than anything else.
At one point, people were using you for cover to jump out from behind you.
I got so desensitized to any of this stuff. They knew they weren't going to scare me, so they were standing behind me to get to other people to scare.
There was that chainsaw noises guy. He was cool.
There was a guy whose chainsaw either wasn't working or he intentionally...
It clearly was working. I saw him using it later in the
He would run up to you and just say, chainsaw noise.
He would fake rev the chainsaw and yell chainsaw noises at you.
And he had some other jokes, too.
Yeah. I actually chuckled at a couple of his jokes. He was pretty good. At one point, he ran up to me and I said, hey, it's chainsaw noises guy.
Yes, he did say that. I was there. I witnessed it.
It was fun.
It was all right. I just got tired of the chainsaws, and those scare zones were not.
Scare zones weren't.
They were kind of lame. They were kind of lame this year. The 2017 was better.
Yeah, and from what I heard, the Killer Clowns one last year, which we didn't get to go to, would have been very fun.
Yeah. No.
It's better when you have characters that actually interact with the park goers.
Yes.
Not just a simple and then keep walking.
Or lunge at you, whatever.
But
that happens to me in the mall. People doing that all the time.
What mall do you go to?
So, anyways, then there were the shows. There was
two
Academy of Villains.
Altered States.
Is that what it was called? Altered States Academy of Villains. So that was cool. It was very well done. They did the more of a heavy metal, hard rock music to it. There was contortionists and all that sort of thing. That guy who was bending his arms and his head all over the place.
Yeah, he was.
And there was a guy swinging from the Was he had the rope, or did he have the sash that they swing around?
Yeah, it was a sash.
He was swinging around. It was a cool show. And then there was the Marathon of Mayhem, which was done on the water.
This is actually pretty much the Marathon of Mayhem shirt right here.
They use the water jets on their man-made lake out there. They spray the water, and there's all different colors that set the music, and then they project the movies right onto the spray.
Yeah, they do.
And it shows up remarkably well, actually. And the first scene out was the classic Universal Monsters, and you see the creature from the Black Lagoon
rising
on the water. It was amazing.
Yeah.
The show was fantastic. I loved it. And they had excerpts from Ghostbusters,
Stranger Things, Killer Clowns.
Yes. There was all sorts, and set to the music and the lights and the crazy stuff. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
All the buildings behind it were kind of dark during most of the night, but then when the show went on, it kind of explained why it was dark back there.
Yeah, they used the buildings. They
for the Stranger Things part, it was actually kind of cool because all the outlines floated onto the houses.
Yep. Kind of like Disney projects onto the big castle.
Yeah. And then
the same thing.
During the Ghostbusters one, that was a cool background for all the buildings.
It was really pretty good. Overall, the event was amazing. We had a great time. We'd like to see if we can make this a staple of our yearly trips. Yearly triplet. I wish we could go there 3 times a year.
Yeah.
They do it from beginning of September to the first week of November.
Wasn't it September 6th to November 2nd?
Yep. I don't know if the dates change every year, but from September to the first week of November, they do this every year. And this is the 29th year, so next year will be the big 3-0.
It'll be an anniversary, so they're probably going to bring back their icons.
I don't know. We'll see. We're going to find out.
You don't know, Jack.
So when do they start making the announcements for next year as far as what they do?
It's probably going to be a couple months, maybe, what?
I don't think they start
March?
till the spring. But anyway, we had a great time.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. If the horror genre is your thing, then you want to check it out. And we just froze. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And we're coming up almost on, will be our longest ever.
Really?
25 minutes.
Holy crap.
So we're going to wrap it up now. We just want to say that Halloween Horror Nights 2019 or 29 was amazing.
It was.
We had a great time.
have a
Great
chance to
time.
go to the event, go to it.
Go to it. Yep.
You
Check it out.
If it's already over, go to the whatever current events next.
UniversalStudios.com. We'll put a link in the description.
Yep.
Make sure you tell your friends about Father and Son Review It All. Subscribe, like us. And for
Father and Son Review It All. Here's the not big enough Stay Puft Man.
And the one who thinks everything's big enough. Right?
And remember, have good YouTube.